Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the new era of leadership. And guys, I'm Carol and I'm here with Amir. And today we're stepping into a conversation that quietly shapes every leader's life, guys. It's paradigms and conditioning. So, how much and how do we lead, we decide, and show up isn't about who we truly are. It's about what we've been taught to believe, guys. Today, we're exploring what beliefs actually, where they come from, why willpower alone so often fails, and the powerful difference between trying to change behavior versus transforming the paradigm underneath it. And this episode, guys, is especially meaningful because we're welcoming our guest into the conversation. Someone whose lived experience brings his work to life in a real and human way. Today, we're honored to welcome a very special guest into our conversation, someone who embodies the values of heart-led leadership, growth, and purpose. Guys, our guest brings a unique voice and a lived experience around leadership, mindset, and making a meaningful impact in the world. We're excited to hear his story and the wisdom he has gained along his journey. Dr. John Couper, we're so grateful you're here with us today. And Amir would like to introduce Dr. John Couper. Amir, come join me.
Thank you. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, everyone, for coming today for our episode. Yeah, it's my honor today to introduce Dr. John Cooper. So leadership is changing. The old models of leadership is not here anymore. That built in control, pressure, and performance. So we are in a new era of leadership. So it's my honor to introduce Dr. John, and I'm just going to read his bio. Dr. John spent decades observing natural community, not in the ballroom, but in the wild, studying behavior, communication, and what truly drives connection. So he later returned to US to work at the highest level of media and global corporation. So before doing something most people would never do or attempt to do in their 50s. So he earned a top-ranked PhD degree in psychology of communication. That's wow, amazing. So his focus is simple but yet powerful, helping leaders tap into inner strengths that often ignored. So welcome to John, and it's an honor to introduce you here today and be with you today as our first guest. Thank you for coming today.
Beautiful.
Okay, thank you for inviting me.
So, Dr. John Cooper, as our guest, we would like to ask you some things. So, we would like for you to share, if you will, your personal leadership story.
Okay, well, in a funny way, my life has been a preparation for the current chaos and change and uncertainty that's around the world, but which really bothers most people because they're not used to it. But it's really been almost my entire life. So I've spent, I guess, I'm 70, almost 78 now. And starting when I was 18, I left the US and I started traveling around the world. I lived with monkeys for 10 years, a natural community of monkeys.
Mm.
And I've had all kinds of other, professional experience. But then when I was in my 50s, I went back to get a PhD in communication. And that really opened the big door for me because the training and the qualifications have really encouraged me to travel around the world. So, for example, I was an advisor and a trainer in Afghanistan and Pakistan during the war period there.
Mm.
And it was a very, let's say, stimulating to be talking to people who were actually living in such extreme situation and training business people on how to deal with all of this. In fact, the hotel that we were staying in Islamabad was bombed out of existence. 2 weeks after we left. So I'm very comfortable with change and with what I've come to call venturing. And venturing is an idea that obviously fits me because I have been, uh, traveling around the world, but also changing careers and changing my priorities for so many years. And for the past 3 years, I've been actually training people to do that. But let me start by going back to, in terms of the heart-led leadership. Um, when I guess I was in my 20s, I went to work for a condo company in Alexandria, Virginia, and I just like a job from the manpower, just to take people from the office to the condo and back again. But while I was doing that, it was kind of boring. So I just started talking to them. I said, "What kinds of things would you do?" And so maybe the husband would say, "Well, I'm into winter sports," and I say, "Oh, this is a particular condo storage that I think you'd really like with all of that equipment." And so I just did that. I didn't get a commission. I was just completely there to guide them, but out of interest, I did it. And it turns out after 2 weeks, the sales director said, "What are you doing? Because you're selling the only condos that we're selling are the ones that are the people that you take to see the condos."
Wow.
And so that was
Uh,
completely, impromptu and completely unplanned. And they said, "Please let us train you in real estate so you can come and work." That didn't interest me. However, I just feel as though I've been blessed by having a life of this kind of leadership. For example, for 9 years, I was co-director of a group of people with various kinds of disabilities.
mm,
And to deal with that and to help them, which was obviously not so much of a skills issue, but very much of a communication and connection and encouragement issue. These are people who have had a pretty tough life. And so that's been another very important part of what I've learned of how to lead people according to their own particular story and needs and so on, which, like somebody who was very autistic and somebody else who had Down syndrome and so on. So that was a big deal.
Wow.
Uh,
yeah.
Wow.
my whole
Okay.
life has been, yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
loving what
so
you're sharing. Thank you.
thanks. Yeah, I just feel as though I'm shockingly lucky. As I say, lucky to live it and lucky to survive it. But anyway, um,
Beautiful.
Mm.
So I have another question, and that is like, what is a pivotal moment
right,
inside of leading from the heart? What is something that really made a difference for you inside of
right.
a mindset shift or a paradigm shift
So,
of leading from the heart?
well, it was actually a little bit similar. I was hired to be a copywriter for a division of Western Union. And this was so long ago. It was before the internet and before email, but we called it electronic mail. And so they liked not only my writing so much, but my decision making that they made me the director of communication about 2 months later.
Mm.
Um, and so what it meant was that I was able to do different kinds of ad campaigns. I trained the salespeople there. But what was really meaningful to me was that I was able to apply all of the things and to see how well they did apply of what I'd been doing, in the previous 25 or so years. So that
Wow.
I would say was very pivotal
Wow.
because it showed me how much I could apply my experience to the business world.
I got it. I got it.
Wow.
So another question. So inside of, because you've done a lot of leadership in your life, I hear it.
Yeah,
Um, w- why why are you going toward the new era of leadership of leading with the heart? What is it that is calling you to
right.
really make that go that direction?
Right.
Mm.
Very good question. Yeah, I mean, all of the people that I've been working with, say just before COVID, were they were all so confused and so uh, you know so blocked by all of the things that were happening. And
Mhm.
so I suddenly realized, well, maybe that I can find some other way to use my background, a new concept. And this is where I come up with the one I mentioned before of venturing. Because obviously, when you, like, I hitchhiked from Kenya to Egypt to Morocco, that's 8,200 kilometers,
Mm.
alone with no money.
Oh my.
So this is a problem-solving experience for sure.
Wow.
Anyway,
Well,
yeah.
I
And
can see
so,
we've got to have you back on to tell more stories. Oh my goodness.
thanks.
Okay. So yeah, so what was that? What was
Yeah,
that?
so I realized that this is that what I learned in these situations of how to have a destination, but realize that you're never actually, not only will you never reach it the same way that you expected to, but you're going to be a different person by the time you get there.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah,
and
this is
that
a
kind
this is
of
a
venturing
powerful.
is very important. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, go ahead. I'm just saying this is a very powerful story. Yeah, go
It
ahead.
is.
Thank you. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so I love it. And what has happened since I've about three and a half years ago, I started developing this program. And the people I've used it on, for example, one young man, he um, he wanted to lose some weight and get in better health. And he said that 3 days after our very first session of 45
Mm.
minutes, he already was had a different relationship with his body.
Mm.
Oh,
And
Wow.
it made such a big difference. And but here's the point. I wasn't leading him. I was helping him to lead himself.
oh,
Absolutely,
yes,
absolutely.
that
This is a
is.
powerful realization. Yeah,
Yeah, that is heart-led leadership. Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, you just show him how to lead himself. That's very powerful
Yeah.
because
So
you cannot tell
amazing.
him everything.
So amazing. So okay. Um, you, our listeners are listening. What's one story that you really want to share with them that will make a difference inside of them choosing that this new
Okay.
era of leadership? What's one story you could
Okay.
share?
Well, I can tell a story now that it was very edgy at the time, but I was working at MCI,
Mm.
which was, it basically invented cell phones. Um, anyway, so I was working there, and I used to. One time they asked me because I had sort of a low position. They asked me to set up a birthday party for one of the directors, and that was fine. But I thought, let's maybe make a little bit more of this. So I told a couple of people that I planned to invite a belly dancer to the birthday party for this executive. And they said, don't do that because, Bill, the director, is going to hate it. And I said, "Oh, I don't think so. I talked to him. I used to talk to him at 6 in the morning. And so I think he'll like it. So, but what really made the difference was that I realized I would invite Bill, the director's wife as well. So she came, and so everybody had this amazing time watching a belly dancer, looking at the executive and looking at his wife who was howling with laughter. So this was taking a chance. I mean, it could have been pretty bad if everybody had been right. But I decided, I think I'm going to go with my instinct here. And I think that I know the people well enough. So I did something a bit outrageous that was wildly successful.
Wow. Well,
Yeah,
well, heart-led leadership is honestly, you lead with your heart. You lead with what you feel
Yeah,
could make the
very
difference.
much. Yeah.
And you
yeah,
found the difference.
and you don't fake it. You be just yourself, and that's the powerful. And you don't have to
That's
spend a lot of energy to
yeah.
force whatever you want to do.
No,
You
right.
just do by your heart. Just everything comes
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
And
John,
that's one thing about the program that I have now, which is that Um, I call it human venture capital. So the idea is that humans naturally like to venture. They like to grow and they like to try new things and so on. Um, but financial capital is very expensive and very hard to arrange. But human venture capital just means you just have to allow people to do it.
Mm.
Oh, I
So,
love that. I so love
so
that.
one example of a little technique that I use is you just ask, one on one, you'll ask an employee, what is one thing that we could do that would help improve your career within what you're doing at the company? Forget about what you're doing now, anything at all. And so
Mm.
they're very hesitant. But then after they answer, they say, well, let's get to work on that. Let's put you, because this is your drive, this is your passion. So let's make the most of it.
Yeah,
I
And when
that's powerful. Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
that.
When you do that, the whole thing takes 10 minutes. But when you
Mhm.
do that, not only does that person change their attitude toward their work, but they change their attitude towards the
Mm.
leader, toward the business, because
Yeah.
all of a sudden we're interested in their future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
they're
then they will
passionate
talk,
about what they're going toward. They're
right?
excited.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So great.
It's
Yeah.
transformational.
That's
It's
beautiful.
It
something so
absolutely,
Yeah,
simple, it's transformational.
it is. It
absolutely is.
is. It is. You install it with them in them, like your vision, and and you just give them you empower them to do. It comes from inside from them.
Yeah.
Right.
That's very powerful.
So I have one more question, and
Of course.
you have just been an amazing guest. Thank you for sharing yourself so graciously with us and with our listeners. So my last question for you is this: what message would you give our 1 million leaders that are rising?
Mm,
What message would you give them?
right. Yeah, that's so important. And I think, people tend to stick to what they're familiar with.
Mhm.
But I think that doesn't work anymore. That we really have to almost reset the our entire set of assumptions. And that's where venturing is so good because it gives you the flexibility and the adaptability
Mhm.
to work with all of these changes. AI is obviously one of the biggest examples at the moment,
Mm.
but
Yeah,
all of these
absolutely.
things you can help people to feel that they have the confidence, that they have the inner resources, the deep resources. My research identified 5 different minds that people have. And if you work with all of those and then align them together, it is literally impossible to stop you, literally.
Mm.
Oh,
And
wow.
so by
Powerful.
teaching that to employees, you it means that they will always feel at home with where they're working. So if
Mm.
you can work on that, if you can figure
Mhm.
that out and train them, and it really takes only a few minutes. It's
Mm.
very quick because it's what we all naturally want to do. Then the whole game has changed.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely,
That's a
absolutely.
paradigm shift. Yes,
It's a paradigm
absolutely.
shift.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. Dr. John,
If I could just
gee,
make one
yeah,
point,
go
I would
ahead.
like
Yeah.
to, I
Yeah,
haven't mentioned
absolutely.
it to you, but I would like to, anybody who is interested, who's watching, I'd love to give them a copy of a book that I wrote called The Power of Adaptive Goal Setting. And this is
Ooh,
a completely new idea about control and about adaptability, obviously, with a completely new model of how to plan so that you can adapt to the changes that the world keeps throwing at you.
ooh.
So,
Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah,
Dr.
this is
John,
powerful.
we will
yeah,
put
so they
that
can,
we'll put your link in the show notes so they can
or
get
they
it.
can just contact you and you can send it to them either way.
Okay.
And
Well,
then,
I'll
That's a great
definitely,
gift. It's a great
yeah.
gift. Yeah,
well,
I love
there's
your book.
something
Very
else
nice.
I'd like to offer too.
Uh-huh.
I talked about the human venture capital. I worked out a very incredibly quick and simple, but very powerful way to evaluate how well your company or your department or whatever is using and developing its human venture capital. And so I would like to offer this as a second bonus gift, because and what will happen is they will fill in these answers, they send it back to me, and I will provide a completely personalized, completely relevant set of actions that they can take to improve the venture capital of their employees. So we can
Oh,
always
Wow,
offer that.
so great. Okay, so
so
we'll make
great.
sure
Thank
that
you very
it
much. Yeah.
is it is up in the show notes on YouTube in this episode so people can get to you, okay? For
Right.
sure. Dr. John, once again, thank you for sharing your story, your thoughts, and what a contribution you were today. So thank you.
Well, thank you
Really,
so
thank
much.
you.
I'm
Thank you,
I'm
Dr.
Absolutely.
John. I just want to say something. We have been connected maybe a few months ago, and I learned a lot from your books and from your materials. It's really really amazing. Thank you very much, and thank you for the gift today and for this amazing stories. I love all the stories you're talking about here. So thank you very much
Of course.
for coming today. Really appreciate it.
Very welcome. Sorry, I went a
So,
bit over time.
oh no, you're fine. You're
No,
absolutely
you're
fine.
fine.
So,
That's fine.
so Amir, I have a question for you.
Yeah, please.
All right. So my question is this, we're talking about paradigm shifts today. Okay.
Mhm.
And so, Amir, many leaders try to change the results without examining their beliefs. Can you share where our core beliefs and paradigms are actually formed and how early conditioning continues to shape leadership today?
Oh, wow, Carol, this is a very powerful question. And I think this is the core uh, aspect we are talking about here, leading from the heart and just be the leader that you want to be. So, so those beliefs, they are conditioned,
Mhm,
not choice by choice. They're conditioned. And
mhm,
sometimes we say there's choice, but they are conditioned and conditioned by four. There's four pillars of we are being conditioned when we are like 2 3 years old when you're young. So there is a repetition. There is like emotional impact, authority figure, and environment. All this their shape our beliefs, their shape our identity when we are
mhm,
young, when we are not thinking about about ourselves, because this is what they call the paradigm. The paradigm is a multitude of habits that control 95% of our behavior, and
yes.
most of the behavior are habitual. So that's happening on early and when we're young, like I said, before 7 years old, all the information, all these things I just talking about, those
Mm,
people around us, the authority figures, the parents, the
mm,
teacher in school, that's all shaped our beliefs and our and our belief and our what we do and what we want and those paradigms are not by choice.
mm,
So the good thing, we can change them like a program. That's our program, internal program we go by. And there is like a sometimes we think we can just use our conscious mind to do things and to drive results. But the polarization is sometimes when you have this conflict between your conscious and your subconscious mind, where the paradigm live,
mhm.
99% the paradigm win.
Ah, got it.
So
Yeah.
you cannot outperform your paradigm. You have to change your identity, your paradigm to become a
Mhm,
behavior. And that's why some people struggle, Carol, like trying to do something and
mhm,
then they back up. They try to change your results, and then they force results and they use their willpower, their conscious mind to do it, but
mhm.
it's not going to be sustainable. It's just going to be, by the time it'll be burnout, and then they give up.
I
So
got it.
so this is how those beliefs shaped early, and we didn't have any say to accept or reject at that time. But we didn't have filters
Right.
in our mind to filter those information. So, for example, a teacher just telling a child like, you are not good, or you are messy, or
Mhm,
you're not good on this. then this information, it goes straight to our subconscious mind because it's wide open, and then
Hmm.
we accept it, and it becomes our belief, internal guidance, and
Yep.
then it show up sometimes in our lives, and we don't know why we are doing this.
Mm.
So if you
Wow.
try to force it, it's not going to work. You have to reprogram. You have to reprogram your mind, your subconscious mind, so it become like easier. That's why we're talking here about identity shift. Identity shift is changing behaviors, because behaviors can be changed by conscious mind, but
Hmm.
it cannot be sustainable. You by the time you just stop, like I said, or you burn
Yeah.
out. So
For me,
mm,
it all starts with alignment. You, number one, as a leader, have to know what you stand for. You have to
absolutely.
know what you stand for, so people can align with you. And
Mm,
and so it starts with examining what you believe. What do you
absolutely.
believe about your leadership?
Mm,
What can you stand for inside your leadership? And and just like you said, that early conditioning, boy, it, it absolutely will run the show if you don't actually examine and clearly define what you're standing for in your leadership. It will run the show. And I totally
100%,
agree with you.
100%.
Totally agree
Hundred
with you.
percent, 100%. And this is sometimes you see people like acting, and you just asking why are those people acting that way. And I had this question many times, but in leadership context, in us, like I see some leaders, they're very good as human, but when you see their action, there's like totally, you just hurting people, not treating people well, and that is like just like, what is this align? And when I understood that this is just, they run by the paradigm, they run by their internal system, even sometimes they don't know this is happening. It's very
Absolutely.
powerful.
Absolutely. So do you have a question for me?
Yeah, I have a question for you. So why do you think so many leaders feel stuck, even they are trying their best, they're trying hard, but they feel still stuck? Why 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 is that happening?
Okay. Okay. Well, once again, for me, I think they're stuck because they don't know what they stand for.
Mm,
See, once you're solid around what you stand for, there is no stuck.
absolutely.
There's no stuck any longer. You know exactly where you're going.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know what you stand for. And then those distractions that come in, if they don't align with what you are standing for, you throw them out. They're distractions in moving you forward in what you're going toward. So for me, it is all about who you are inside of your leadership. You can't be moved. Once you really and truly know what you stand for and who you are in your leadership, you can't be moved. You're not
Mm,
wishy-washy. You're not going back and forth and being
absolutely.
pulled away by other distractions and other things.
Absolutely.
You know solidly. So I do believe the work has to be done for you to know what you stand for. So you're unstoppable and you're immovable. Nobody can move you in another direction if this is who you are and what you stand for in your leadership. And I do believe that the new era of leadership is something people will be aligning with. They will align with that it's heart-led leadership now, not a boss mentality, not a bullying mentality. I've been in businesses where there's been lots of bullying that happens. I've been in
Mm,
businesses where there's lots of micromanaging and not trusting, and those things are going by the wayside because they don't work. And they don't
no,
work inside of the new paradigm shift of new era of leadership. They don't work. And
no,
they
they
don't
don't
build
work.
trust, you know?
No, they don't build trust. Yeah, I agree 100% with you just what saying here. You just have to just fight for what you stand for, and this is how you build trust. People see you. You are the leader, and this is your way, and you be consistent in it. So this is very very strong. And And also I just see this micromanagement sometimes, Carol, I see it from different perspective. It is to me like you are protecting yourself as a leader. It's not about the quality of the work,
And it's
because when
not
you do
about the other
that,
person, it's about
it's not
you.
that exactly. Yeah, it just you have to protect, try to, but this is like you don't see it. This is from inside. You
Mhm.
don't see that, but it's actually is just a fear that you are not showing up to outside or
Right.
to your upper
Mhm.
management that your work is good, but it's all protecting you. So you need to give people their give them the space, give them all they need, the tools, and let them. So I think this micromanagement is sometimes we see it a lot in workplace, and that's just causing a lot
One
of the problem
one
and
other
mistrust.
Yeah, one other thing that I see in the workplace a lot is there isn't clarity. There isn't be so people don't know what to align with. They're
Expectation, yes,
not
absolutely.
clear. Give people directions, and then somebody else comes along and gives you other
Not
directions, and
clear.
somebody else comes and gives you other directions, and it's not clear. And so
Yeah, cause
therefore
mistrust.
they don't even know what they're aligning with. And I think that's a big piece of the micromanaging. Because
Absolutely,
if you are very clear and there's no gray area here and you have communicated in a very clear way, then people know how to align with that.
absolutely,
And that has been,
absolutely.
I think, a big issue is communication is
It
so lacking
is.
out
It
there in
is
the business.
so important. It's so important.
Yeah,
Yeah. Communication and clear expectation is very vital and very important. Carol, I
absolutely.
have, I have a story I want to share
Mhm.
here with you and the audience about if when people feel stuck, they like, okay, I do everything, I do my best and work hard and everything is happening, but why am I stuck here? And this story shared by Bob Proctor, over time he shared this story. It's very nice to explain that. He shared there is like a fly trying to escape from the window and the glass window, and then the fly just try and buzz and tried everything and try, and then it hit the window and come back, hit the window until it die inside the window. And what is what's happening? The door is wide open, like 10 feet on the other side. So that means like we sometimes we try, we do we all the force, and we're not changing our thinking or not changing around, and maybe what the door is open in the other side. So sometimes we have to pause, stop, and see, and change our thinking instead of do it by force. So this one thing also I learned, and it's very powerful. You change everything, result as well.
Absolutely. And it is another thing, and that is that you think outside the box. You look in other places.
Mhm.
When you engage your mind, then there are other options. But when you don't engage your mind, there's nothing else except for what you are focused on, straight going forward. There's nothing else available for you. Can't even access opportunity. Okay.
No, absolutely, man. Yeah.
When you're so narrowed in on this is the only way. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and I know, I know, for me, I came from a culture that, if you are not burn out or work too hard, success is not gonna happen. And I think there's many culture like that. You have to just beat yourself to be successful, and most of the time it's the opposite. It's about the thinking. It's not about working hard and working too much.
yeah, it's about the being and not the
It's
doing.
a be absolutely,
It
absolutely
absolutely is. And that it really honestly is the new era of leadership. It's about who you be, not what you do.
what you do
Uh,
exactly,
yeah.
because when you race to what you be, then the doing will be easier. It'll be natural coming.
It will be so much easier. It
Absolutely.
won't be like that fly beating its head against the wall until it
And
dies, right?
no, just yeah, try to just be first, be, and then
Oh,
be do have, like this way, be do have always.
absolutely. So Amir, we have some exciting news for people. What do you want to tell people around our new program that's going to be coming very shortly?
Yeah, so we're working very hard, tremendously, trying to make this course, very valuable to you. And when people come to us, for the course, and we have many things, added to it. Like I said last time, Carol just brought a lot of tremendous experience, and all she got, put it in here. So because this is the way, this is like the our heart we put in here, because we're not chasing anything. We're trying to build leaders that can transform more leaders, that we can change the leadership globally, because this is a time now to change. So we are working, and we are getting close for the course. And tentatively, we're thinking about, maybe March we'll start, but we'll give you exact date, when in the days coming. So
Soon,
so
very
just
soon, we'll
be
have a date
very
for
soon.
you. So we're very
Yeah,
excited, guys, to offer this inside of, honestly, you being able to find what you're aligned to, being able to define for yourself what you stand for inside of
absolutely.
your leadership, where you want it to go, what you want to do with it. So it's all about doing the
It's
inner work with us.
it's
And
a
we're excited
transformational. Yeah,
to do that work
very
with you.
excited. Very
Absolutely.
excited. Very excited.
Wow. What an amazing episode, guys. What an
Wow.
amazing episode. And I want to just say this. You love these episodes, please subscribe to our channel. Comment, make comments on them and share them out to your network. Your LinkedIn network is not mine. So repost and share them and let people know. The new era of leadership, guys, is the conversation out there now. It's honestly out there many places. It's not about ego any longer. It's not about being a boss any longer. It's about raising leaders to be leaders. And so we're very excited to have this go viral. So help us, please. Um, okay,
Yes.
so guys, as we close today, I want to remind you of something powerful. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are conditioned. That's what we talked about today. You're conditioned inside of your leadership. And the moment you see your conditioning, guys, you get to reclaim your power to choose differently. This is all about choice. Choose powerfully to lead differently. The paradigm change doesn't happen through force or willpower, which is what Amir just talked about. It happens through awareness, compassion, and alignment with who you are becoming. In the new era of leadership, we don't judge our past beliefs, guys. We thank them for getting us this far. And then we consciously choose what comes next. So that's the question you want to ask yourself. What comes next? This is the new era of leadership where awareness creates choice, choice creates alignment, and alignment creates transformation, guys. Thank you for being with us. And thank you to our guest for sharing so openly. Dr. John Couper, will you please come back and be a guest again? Please? We would
Absolutely.
love to
Yeah, I
have
would
you
love for you
back.
to come back. Yeah.
We would love to have you back. So, guys, please subscribe, share, and share these episodes and help us to build 1 million bold leaders by 2030. Heart-led leaders, guys, this is the direction leadership is going in.
Mhm.
So join us for another episode soon. Lead with love, lead with courage, and lead from the heart. And we will see you next week with another guest. Thank you. Thank you once again, Dr. John Couper.
Thank you,
Bye,
Dr. John.
everyone.
Thank you very much. Bye, everyone. Take care.